This video is sponsored by Factor. More on them later. Last year I had a good bit of fun converting an RC car into a ground effects vehicle, or at least what I intended to be a ground effects vehicle. It ended up just kind of being more like a crappy airplane. It flew, but not very well, mainly because the RC car chassis was just too heavy. This year I learned a lot more about ground effects vehicles, and I feel like now I have the knowledge I need to make it work. But this time around, instead of converting an RC car into a ground effects vehicle, I'm going to convert an RC Speedboat into a ground effects vehicle. So I went on the internet and bought this cheap one from Banggood. Before attaching wings, let's get an idea of how it performs as is. Turns out this thing is already a little bit of a ground effects vehicle. This kind of boat is called a tunnel hull. It floats on two pontoons, and as it builds up speed, air gets rammed under the front and the pressure increases a bit. This high pressure bubble creates lift and essentially makes the hull lighter in the water. This lifts it out of the water and decreases drag, allowing the boat to go faster. Tunnel hulls like this are great until you build up too much speed and the boat flies out of the water, like this. Since they're aerodynamically unstable, they just flip and crash, unless you just happen to do a perfect barrel roll and stick the landing. Of course, the rough water makes it much more likely to flip, but you get the idea. On flat water, this boat did not have enough power to take off and flip up.
No. Wow. It pushes enough air to move it. That's epic. I have zero steering control though. Oh my god, look at that. There's a dead frog. That's crazy.
So after these quick test drives, I began turning it into a flying machine. I started by making some big wings out of Depron and attaching a spar to the top of the boat. Then I glued the wings to the hull and added another sheet on top to form the curve of the airfoil. I really just kind of started cutting foam and gluing things together without hardly doing any planning for this build. After making this fat wing, I realized there was no way I would ever get the center of gravity far enough forward, so that gave me the idea of adding a structure out on the front of the boat to hold the battery way out past the nose. But some sticks with a battery on it would obviously just sink, so I needed some buoyancy in the front. That led me to make a canard wing with its own little hull underneath for some buoyancy. And then, to pick up the nose out of the water even more, I added air propellers to the front that would do PAR effect with the canard. For those who don't know what PAR stands for, it's Power Augmented Ram, and it's when you position motors to blow air underneath a wing that is low to the ground. The air builds up a high pressure bubble and kind of floats the wing up like a hovercraft. So I kind of just got a little carried away and went ahead and just finished the whole build without filming it. But this thing has turned out to be such a monstrosity, and I love it. So today is just going to be a quick preliminary test to make sure there's no fundamental design issues, which there very well could be. I put an ArduPilot flight controller back here just for stabilization control, and the motors pivot up and down with this little servo like that, as you can see. But the center of gravity is still going to have to be somewhere around here, so this part I'm assuming will sink and sit really low in the water. Not completely sink, but in order to keep these motors up above the water, I built this kind of float section under there. So hopefully that gives the front enough buoyancy so that these propellers can spin without just whacking through the water. And we've still got the water propeller here and the water rudder. I might take off the water rudder eventually, depending on how it goes, but we'll see. And I've also got differential thrust for steering with the front two motors. No control surfaces though, so this will be interesting. I do have the pitch stick mapped to this motor tilt servo, so I should have a little bit of pitch control, maybe? But I'm hoping the par thrust will allow me to make this thing nose heavy enough as to where I will never need any pitch control. That would be ideal. I'm so excited for this, but it really just might not even work at all. I don't have super high hopes. I don't even know how it's gonna float. Oh wow, the front motors are up out of the water. It floats well, that's great. Okay, first try. Par thrust to get the nose up. Oh, it wheelies. Oh no, it's still too tail heavy. I planned for this. I can just take the battery off of there and stick it on here, even further forward. Oh my god, it's kind of working. This is so good. This thing is so crazy. It's working like as well as I could possibly hope for. Especially good for first try. In order to help me get the nose up out of the water with par thrust, I have it set so that the first half of the throttle range only has these front two motors spinning, and then once I get above half throttle, then the back water propeller will kick in and start pushing it faster. So we'll see how that works. What up, duck? Sorry, duck, no bread for you. Oh my god, I'm one with nature.
Here, buddy, let me pet you. I really want to pet you. Don't leave me, no, we were so close. Oh, I do not want to tip this thing over. Yeah, it needs a little more weight in the nose. That's so fun.
So at this point, I was experimenting with different combinations of throttle. Like for example, I turned the power of the water motor way down and the air motors way up, and vice versa. What I found was that both air and water motors were contributing to propelling the craft forward, but the air motors with their par thrust is what really helps build up the cushion of air underneath and break contact with the water and make the thing take off. Once it built up too much speed, it would just flip up, so this is an indication that it's still probably a bit too tail heavy.
Woo-wee!
Or I just need a better way to control the pitch axis. For a lot of these runs, the motor tilt servo wasn't working. It must have gotten too wet.
Look at that! Look at that! Wow! That was so good!
I would say day one was a huge success. I didn't even have to break out the rescue kayak. It actually kind of worked, even though the water was really rough. I think with smoother water we'd have much more luck. I do need to find a way to control pitch and keep the nose down, but before I make any big modifications, I'm going to try it out on smoother water. So all in all, I'm happy. When I'm busy building projects like this one, the last thing I want to do is worry about eating healthy. Get Factor and enjoy clean eating without the hassle. Simply choose your meals online and get fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered right to your door. Pop them in the microwave and they are ready in just 2 minutes. There really is no easier way to eat well. With 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options, there's always something new to try. Plus, you can round out your meals and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of quick bites, smoothies, juices, and more satisfying add-ons. These aren't just any old microwavable meals. They arrive refrigerated, not frozen, which makes them quicker to heat up and taste better. Look at that tomato squirt. Think that would ever happen with a frozen meal? Think again. I can honestly say these meals are legitimately good and I feel great after eating them. Get America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit and start saving time, eating well, and living your best year ever. Head to factor75.com/RCTestFlight60 and use code RCTestFlight60 to get 60% off your first Factor box. Now back to the video. It's the next day. We have smoother water, so that should lead to better performance. I replaced the standard servo that was on here for this nice waterproof high-tech servo, so we shouldn't have any problems there.
Oh, that's awesome. It totally just rides on the water propeller. Oh, that was so close to flipping over.
At this point, I still had not implemented any active pitch control, so it was still just flipping up every now and then. But as long as I didn't give it too much throttle and let the airspeed get out of hand, it would stay nose down and work pretty much perfectly. At this point here, I had mapped the motor tilt servo to the elevator output on the flight controller. Notice how it no longer flips up like it used to.
That works. Oh, it's epic. I don't know. What more do you want? That's pretty good right there.
Yesterday I was having problems with it pitching up like this and almost flipping over. But today I mapped the pitch axis to the motor tilt servo. And there's a very high proportional gain. You can see I just have to barely move the pitch of the vehicle and the motors move a lot. So today as it was going along and starting to lift up, ooh, boom, look at that. The motors are just yanking the nose down. They're at a super steep downwards angle. So that's why it would never flip up. That's such an aggressive P-turn. I'm surprised it wasn't oscillating. Now in all of my ground effect vehicle videos, there are always comments that say, why don't you put a boat propeller on it? This project is a good test of that idea. For the most part, the boat propeller is always touching the water, but at times it's fully airborne. My hunch is that when the boat propeller is just barely contacting the water, it's not very efficient. You can see how much water it throws up into the air, and it takes energy to throw that water upwards, so my guess is that the air propellers are actually more efficient in this case. Typically, boat propellers are much more efficient because water is way more dense than air, but when only 25-ish% of the propeller is submerged, I feel like it's just far from optimal. Not to mention the annoying noise it makes. The water propeller is way louder than the air propellers. I was planning on eventually building a ground effect vehicle that relies only on water propellers, but I think this project here has satisfied my curiosity on that front.
It's really just not a good combo. After my last video about hydrofoils on ground effects vehicles, I think it's safe to say that if you have an aircraft that is supposed to be flying in the air, anything touching the water is bad, even if it's a propeller or hydrofoil. Aircraft that are meant to fly should just stay in the air, and hydroplanes or hydrofoils that are meant to drive across the water should just stay in contact with the water. It's just better that way. That's not to say that boats shouldn't take some advantage of aerodynamics, like a tunnel hull speedboat, but for the most part it's best to keep them separate. After all, water is over 800 times more dense than air, so having a vehicle that operates in both simultaneously is kinda silly. But all that gets thrown out the window if the craft is not made to be practical, but instead just made to be novel and weird, like this one here. Here are some awesome slow motion shots from the FreeFly Systems Wave high-speed camera. You can really see how the water propeller spends some of its time airborne and some of its time submerged. One thing I noticed was that the propeller seemed to be throwing more water up into the air than backwards. In order to make thrust, it has to throw water backwards, but the fact that so much water is going up in the air makes me think that it's not really actually doing all that much other than being noisy and inefficient. The rudder too. It seems to be kicking up quite a bit of water, which seems like it would result in downforce, sucking the back of the vehicle down.
So today I'm going to try a much bigger battery in the front to get the CG really far forward. Right now I think it's about like maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches back from this leading edge of the bigger wing. I think I'll start off in manual mode so that there's no active pitch control on the motor tilt, just to see how it behaves with the motors flat and nothing else. Still flips up. This is manual mode, no pitch control. Looks like there must be a race or something going on. So with this big battery way far forward and with the motors trimmed flat, in manual mode with no active pitch stabilization, it actually works really well. So that's what it takes to get it to be aerodynamically stable. Making it super nose heavy works, and it doesn't flip up, but the downside is that it's harder to get the nose up out of the water in the first place. It's also just heavier with that big battery in the front, which doesn't help. Here's another reason why I don't love having junk dragging in the water. It just gets caught on fishing line and leaves. Well, that's a wrap for today. I broke the motor pivot. Whoops. So after that, I took off the rudder and water propeller, just to see how it would work without them. Before, I would not have been able to drive this thing at this location because there's a lot of crap in the water. A lot of lily pads and seaweed and stuff like that. But now we have nothing hanging down in the back, so there's nothing to get caught on. Wow. It doesn't even hardly work without the rudder. I did not expect that. I think if I had aerodynamic rudders on the vertical stabilizers, it would have worked fine, but the differential thrust alone controlling the yaw axis was just not quite enough to keep it going straight. It also didn't really have enough power to build up any speed, so that goes to show the water propeller was contributing to thrust quite a bit. It did get up off the water a few times though. In this onboard footage, you can see that it's fully airborne. All that wake you see is from aero downwash only, no contact with the water. Oh no, it's caught on this stick. Oh yes, I think it's almost, yes, I'm free. Yeah, not enough chooch. Yesterday I took the motor and the speed controller out of the boat portion to save some weight, and I also 3D printed a new rudder on my Snapmaker A350. This rudder is a direct swap out replacement for the old one, and it has more of an angle on it, so seaweed won't get stuck. It'll just flow right past it. So now we have the benefits of water rudder stabilization, and we can still drive over seaweed infested waters. I think this will work pretty well. Let's give it a shot. So adding the water rudder back on definitely helped with the yaw stability issues, especially since it's actively stabilized by the gyroscope in the flight controller. This combination of things probably worked the best in terms of how well it flew. The weight savings from the lack of a big old water motor helped lower the airspeed a bit, which was kinda nice. And the best part was that with the air motors only, it didn't have enough power to exit ground effect, or even just flip up like it was doing before.
go. That's what I like to see.
As I started to disassemble it, I got the urge to do one last quick test.
I wanted to give this thing one more try before I take it apart. So we have no air motors, no aero control surfaces, just the canard, the wing, the water propeller, and that's it. I'm gonna make it really nose heavy so that it hopefully doesn't flip up. Since I don't have any aero control, flip ups are gonna be difficult to prevent, but we can only do that by hoping to make it really nose heavy. So let's give this a try. I don't even know if it'll be able to build up speed without the air motors. Nope. Oh, there it goes. The prop has to finally stop cavitating or ventilating. The water prop is just not biting. Maybe that's because it's too nose heavy and the rear is lifted out of the water too much. But I mean, the prop is fully submerged when it's just sitting there. Okay, so now I have a small battery in the front and a big battery in the middle just for weight. Let's see if it finally bites. Oh. Yep, it bites. Okay, so I think the conclusion here is that if it's tail heavy enough for the water propeller to actually work, then it's too tail heavy and it'll just fly. I would probably have to change the position of the propeller to get this to work. Let me try removing that center battery, but it's still way too tail heavy and the nose just flips up and then lands upside down. Flying sled is coming to save the day. Gotta think like a tugboat. Okay, I'm pushing. Oh no, the props are just gonna hit it. God, now they're fucking both stuck together. Maybe I can just give it some yeet and hope for the best. Okay, I'm gonna try and give it some gas. But it's just driving in circles, that's it. Inflatable kayak to the rescue. It's super shallow right here, so if I just stand in it, it's gonna touch the bottom, so I have to try and scoot it out. Oh yeah, definitely had some collision action going on there. Wow, oh, it's so heavy, it's so full of water. Oh, Jesus.
So that's pretty much it for this project. It's definitely one of the weirdest and wackiest flying things I've ever built, and it turned out to work better than I had ever expected. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.